This is the new Pharos Traveler 137, new smartphone that's out. It's really cool. I'm quite impressed. This is an introductory of some of the features to look for. T-Mobile will be carrying this in stores here pretty soon. This phone actually has 2 cameras on it. This phone also has a 3.5G network supported on this, and it runs on Windows Mobile 6.5. As you can see here, this is the welcome screen, the start screen, and actually instead of saying Windows Mobile, the new Windows phones, to be technically correct. Anyhow, notice here though, on the screen you see the start screen starts with getting started, phone, voicemail, email, calendar, and favorites. This is also, you're actually able to customize this. This phone is actually slick. I was really impressed with not only the screen, if you look at it, it has same form factor as the iPhone. Some slight differences is that if you actually look here, this has a mini USB connection. In this mini USB connection, there's actually some extra pins, and these extra pins actually contains a possibility for connection that comes with this for FM radio. There's actually an adapter that actually plugs into this using headphones, a headset. You actually have a radio in this particular phone, which means there's an additional antenna. As you can see in the back here, has a camera, speaker. Here's your volume screens, your up and down volume screen. Here is your camera button here to the bottom. You can actually turn on the camera. It does both video as well as still shots. One other thing to note here that I was quite impressed is you're actually able to customize this. So if you do not want to use this for a camera, not that you wouldn't have the functionality, but if you'd prefer to use or have another feature, another application started, you can actually do that. You can actually set it up in the settings so that when you actually push this, you can actually have instead of the camera coming up, you can actually have the another program actually start up. And here on the bottom, that's the speaker. Here at the very top, you see the on-off button and the reset button here. Little hole here, which generally, hopefully you should never have to really use this. In the event that you have to do a hard reset, you would actually use like a paper clip or something and stick it in here, and it would hard reset the device. Okay, so one of the things that you see here is that it's asking me to set up an email or an SMS account. SMS is something you can actually have included in your plan if you so desire with your service provider. I'm going to actually get out of this because this is kind of a no point right now. This is not what I'm introducing. So let me go into the settings here. Just an overview of some of the things that actually come included here. As I stated, it has actually 2 cameras. It's a 3.5G for data speeds. You have your smart navigator. Let me also state something else with this. This smart navigator that you see here at the top. This smart navigator is the Pharos GPS that's actually built into this device. This is a hardware GPS. This is not using triangulations that most phones use for maps. This is actually using actual satellite reception. So in the event, say if you lose a signal, you're in a mountain somewhere, or you don't have a signal, the cool thing with this phone above most any other phones that's out there right now is it actually has a satellite reception. Even if you don't have a signal, because it's not using triangulation, you're actually able to still navigate a route to wherever you need to get to. Let me turn this back on. So that's actually something that's pretty slick. I was very impressed with that. You actually have here other settings that you can actually change here. You see the calendar here, you see email here, text messaging, phone for phone settings and whatnot, a keyboard for keyboard settings. It does do both portrait as well as landscape for input method Whether some people actually prefer to type most of the time if it's, in landscape or if it's in portrait. I'll get into more of that later. Right now I'm just doing an overview, an introduction to you guys. It also has contacts, your settings, alarms, you're getting started. Windows Media is actually built into this. Marketplace, which is the equivalent to the iTunes store, built in to the iPhone. Well, this is the marketplace for this particular device. You have pictures and videos. You also have Microsoft My Phone. For those of you guys not familiar with that, it is also a feature similar to the iTunes where you're able to back up your information to your computer. So if you lose your contacts or whatnot, you actually have somewhere to retrieve the information back. You also see Bing is actually built in here. Microsoft Messenger, Windows Live, MSN Weather. You see a calculator, your notes, games. Tasks. Notice here it has Office Mobile. So you're actually able to use to view PowerPoint slides here. You're actually also able to view and edit Excel and Word documents inherently out of the operating system. There's Task Manager, which most of you familiar with the Windows operating system should be familiar with that. Again, we'll go into much more details and depth on these different features later. Internet sharing, if you wanted to do internet sharing with another device, that's optional, it's available. Search a phone, active sync, FM radio, as I stated earlier, how this actually has a hardware radio, another antenna built into this device for radio. You see here a backup. Also, you can set this up so you can actually, on a routine basis, timely, whether it's nightly, weekly, or whatnot, you can actually back up your data. Here's your camera. Quite a bit of options here. Remote desktop, which is really cool. There's a lot of your SIM manager. For those of you that may, would be switching over from one device to another and are concerned about losing your contacts, whether you're importing or exporting, you actually have the option to use the SIM manager for this. And again, I keep it funky. We'll be going into greater details for this later. Get back out of this here for a minute. Again, this is just an overview and introduction to those of you looking for an awesome smartphone to use. Again, T-Mobile will be carrying these. Quite a bit more carriers will also be adding these phones, but this is something that you might want to consider immediately for a simple phone that actually does a lot. One thing I was quite impressed with still is the battery life on this. I'm very impressed, even over the iPhone, with the battery life on this because it has lasted for a few days now without having to be charged. And as you can see, the bars here, it's still at least halfway charged. And the other option here is the bars that you see, not option, but the other icon that you see here is reception, and the 3 bars, the signal strength. The other thing is, the reason you see these two going back and forth is because it's connected to a Wi-Fi network right now. So there's actually, there it goes, going off again. I need to actually change that so that the screen doesn't cut off as intermittently as it's doing, and that's actually customizable as well. But anyways, there's a connection right now, and it's actually exchanging information through the Wi-Fi network right now. But I Keep It Funky will be providing you with much more details on how to use this phone, things you can do with the phone, cell phone tips, basically to become much more productive in our day-to-day lives. Most of us are very busy. There's no way that we can accomplish as much as we need to these days and be as efficient without the use of cell phone technology or mobile technology. Anyhow, I will be providing you with more details for this later. Be looking forward to this. This is brought to you from I Keep It Funky.